Hi, aloha, and welcome to the Empowered Empath podcast. My name is Jennifer O'Neill,
And I'm Michelle Schneider.
and we welcome you today as we talk about all things involving our spiritual lifestyle and or answer any questions that you may have because we want you to go ahead, Michelle.
Like and subscribe as always. Yeah, if you like this video content, please like the video. And if you haven't already, do subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any future podcasts.
Yes. And today we're going to be talking about moon children. But I have a sneaking suspicion this is going to sneak over into a lot of other areas just because of the nature of the topic itself. So when this comes out, it will be full moon.
Yes.
People will be crazy and reactive because it amplifies energy, especially when you're dealing with people who are affected by energy. And people who are affected by moon energy are typically what is called a moon child. And that's kind of where the name came from.
It's also where lunatics came from. You know,
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. That's true. That being said, it's funny because my grandkids are always like, it's full moon tomorrow, means there's going to be some crazy people out there, and they are 7. It's hilarious. It's like, oh, well, yep, that's true. I'm not even watching the moon phases, and I don't even know where they're watching them, but it is so funny. They always tell me, right, but actually they probably see it out their window because right where they're at, they can see the moon really good when it's getting close to full moon. So
Well, I also have always heard it from people who are in the medical field too. I know my sister, she would tell me this all the time is like around full moon, like things would just get crazy, at the doctor's offices and things of that nature. So
oh
it's a thing.
yes, yes, the energy is weird when it's full moon. That being said, though, I had a question the other day, and I thought it was a good one about moon children. So, how you can tell if you're a moon child is the best way is you're drawn to the moon. Everything about the moon fascinates you. You are interested in it. You love looking at it. Moon uh, phases, moon cups, moons in the sky, however you want to do it. You're like, it makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, or you feel some type of connection, or you feel just drawn to moons of any nature. They don't have to just be in the sky, but they could be, like I said, on a cup or whatever that is. But one of the things that I think that people don't realize about moon children is they're not just affected or drawn to the moons of this planet. I said moons of this planet. That was kind of funny. The moon.
Do you know something that we don't?
Well, I was looking at all the moons and the other planets, is why I said moons. But moon children have typically lived a lot of other lifetimes on other planets as well. They haven't lived all of their lifetimes on Earth. So they are really fascinated and drawn to moon energy, but they are also feeling drawn out into space or into the outer realm that is not on Earth because they can feel energy from other past lives. They remember other planets. Their internal being and who they are is drawn outwardly, and they connect well typically with like alien type stuff. They're interested in that as well. They're interested usually with about UFO things. They're interested in anything kind of basically going on in the night sky or in the skies above us, purely because they know there's a lot going on in the sky above us. They know that there's a lot of activity. They know that there's a lot of other planets, and they have fond memories usually. So usually as a moon child, that's also again an indication that you had good lifetimes on other planets as well. You have fond memories. You have kind of a homesick type thing sometimes for some people. So there's all different ways that you can be attracted in and or fascinated with extraterrestrial energy, which is something, again, I know I mentioned this on another podcast too, but we do have to get to that eventually. But moon children and star seeds are typically a little bit different too. People have asked, are they the same or are they different? Moon children, they are more aligned with other planetary energy. And by planetary energy, I mean other planets, other moons, other things of that nature. And they are typically peacemakers, healers. They want to have the zen of all things. They typically want to thrive and be successful in a certain place. They kind of want to be stationed and on their planet and that sort of thing. Or maybe they might want to discover another planet, but it would be similar to people being interested, I think, or I feel like, in the outdoors here, or, you know, the environment here and that sort of thing as well. But when you get into star seeds, there's a lot of different, I want to say, factions or different things within a star seed. So we might have people who had different type of careers as far as like protection or warrior type things, or exploratory star seeds. There was, you know, there's a lot teaching star seeds. There's a lot more things that can encompass, that's not always peaceful if they're working with protection and things of that nature.
Can you be both, or do you think you just fall into one or the other?
No, I feel you can be both. You can have a star seed who's also very caring towards and very drawn towards planets and moons, and very interested in how that energy moves, interested in how that works with universal energy, interested in all the dynamics of the planetary alignment, astrological stuff, astrology type things, why one planet affects another planet, that sort of thing. That would be a moon child. But then you can have, like I just said, the star seed could have maybe a teacher position or exploratory position, and then with a moon child emphasis. So this is why I don't love labels though, because then it's like, okay, well, can I do this and that? And then what would I call myself? And then what would I be over here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel that, you know, you can call yourself a star seed, you can call yourself a moon child. Either one of them is most likely going to probably suit you if you have aligned with that name. If you aligned with a moon child name, that's probably more going to suit you. If you align with a star seed name, that's probably more going to suit you, which means you might be a little bit more adventurous in dealing with other extraterrestrial energies, other beings and energies instead of planets. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
star seeds have a great interest in what you would call here on Earth more humanitarian stuff or protection or working with extraterrestrial energies as far as beings. Moon children would be very drawn to environmental, planetary, things of that nature. So while, like I said, there could be some crossover because maybe we have some humanitarian type starseeds that are also very interested in the planetary stuff, I think that most people will typically identify more one way or the other. And so you will be affected more, I guess I would say, when it comes to things like solar flares or full moons, new moons, Mercury retrograde. What else? Venus in retrograde, other types of planetary alignments, eclipses. You're going to notice that your energy and your energetic frequency might shift more with those things than other people who have spent a lot of their lifetimes here on Earth, because you're used to working with that frequency or being aware of that frequency or learning how to work with that energy. But therefore, you're going to be more aware of it too, because it's going to be familiar to you. It's going to be on your radar because you're going to feel like, oh, I notice this energy. I can feel this. this makes sense to me. It might trigger a memory of being on other planets too, where you're just like, I don't know what it is, but I really feel maybe powerful with this moon phase, or I'm feeling very powerful with this solar eclipse, or I feel like I need to clear my house. So you might, like maybe energetically, you might notice that different astrological events might trigger you to take some type of action, clearing, um, restructuring things, or something of that nature. That means that you're tuning into some knowledge that you have on a deep moonchild level, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So these things have access to other information, these types of events, but they will be more greatly affected than other people who spend a lot of lifetimes on Earth. I feel like everybody, I don't want to say everybody, that's not true. I feel like a lot of people just assume that we've spent most of our lifetimes here on Earth. And that's not the case at all for a lot of people. A lot of us have spent many lifetimes in other realms, on other planets, things of that nature. That's a very 3D concept, I feel like, is like, oh yes, Earth, this one little planet in
Yeah,
this.
I mean, it's not to say that some people don't, but I definitely fall into the category where I think most of my lifetimes, majority, like
Mhm.
I have a handful of Earth, but just through readings, past life regressions that I've gone through, I know I identify more as a star seed, and I know that I've had
Well, that being said, without the readings, without the all of those things, what do you feel more drawn to? Do you feel like you're more drawn to space and planets and like sci-fi type movie things, or do you feel like you're more drawn to Earth? Where's your first thought go? Where do you feel most drawn to?
As a kid, I would often be sitting alone just thinking about space, and I don't think that's normal.
Well, it is for a moonchild.
But no, I would think about the stars. I would think about like just space. I would, I've had recurring dreams too of it was so weird to have like the same dream. I'm like standing in my parents' front lawn. It's dark outside. I see all the stars above me, and there was always a different UFO hovering above me. Like
Mhm.
to the point I could describe how they looked each different. I'm very attracted to like, the Guardians of the Galaxy sci-fi stuff.
See,
Like I
you're
really
hitting
love.
on all points because you were very fascinated with space and whatnot. You were interested and felt connected in some way to understanding UFOs or extraterrestrial things exist. And then now we're going Guardians of the Galaxy, and that is another sign as well, as far as feeling like, yes, this makes sense. I feel warm and fuzzy inside. Have you ever had one of those types of shows where it sparked something in you that you were like, oh, this feels like I could live there, or I feel really drawn to this place? Like it just feels like this place exists. Have you ever had
Yeah,
that happen?
I love it. And I don't know, I can't explain why.
Yes.
I'm so fascinated by it.
Yes, I had that happen to me, when I was younger, and I was like, "This is so bizarre." I was watching a movie, and it hit me, and I was like, "Oh my god." I was like, "This place exists." And it was such a, because it wasn't something I was thinking about at the time, and I was just like, "I know, I feel like I've been to this place." Now, it might have not been that exact place, right? But somewhere very similar, that it clearly sparked some type of memory within my being about that. I have to take a drink, sorry.
I'll cut it. No worries.
So so when you have something hit you within some type of sci-fi movie, usually it will be a fond memory. Hopefully it's not like, Aliens or something, like the movie Aliens, and you're
I
like, "Oh
don't
my
like the
god."
negative stuff or like, they're out to like, Independence Day, we're gonna take
Yeah,
over the earth. Like I'm not into that stuff. But
right. Yeah. Well, and to be fair, I know from what I've seen, or I feel, I guess I would say. From the things that I've been shown, I know that everything is not always positive and wonderfully, Candyland in the s um what would you even call universe, astrological realm, whatever. It's the same as an Earth. We have some people that are really positive, some people that are more the negative, some people that are helpful and healing, some people that are harmful. So I that's going to be
It's
across.
a spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be across the board as far as that stuff goes. But absolutely, you will feel fond. The other thing a lot of people do experience is they start feeling really homesick and they don't know where home is. It doesn't feel like it's on Earth. It doesn't feel like it's like a different state or a different country. It feels like you're feeling homesick for somewhere above, somewhere that's not here. And that's another thing that moon children or star seeds can typically experience throughout their lifetime somewhere. It's you don't have to hit all of these things to be one of those, but it can be also a sign of feeling homesick. Did you ever have that happen?
Well, there's been many a times where I'm like, "Why the hell did I come to Earth?" Like, well, I don't wanna do this
Okay, now
again.
that's a question. That's not like a homesick, but I feel like almost
I'm just like, "I
everybody
don't wanna be here."
listening will be like, yes, yep, I'm with you. I've had that happen to me before. Why would I choose this life? Why would I choose these people to be in my life? Why would I choose this experience to be in my life? Yeah, and then they're like, yeah, I want to change my script. See, this is why we're not allowed to change our script when we're down here. This is exactly why you are not allowed to change your journey while you're here. You have to get all kinds of approval and angel um, interference and all kinds of stuff. This is why. So, that being said, yes, the moon is coming up. It's going to be intense. It will affect a lot of people differently. How I feel like you can utilize this information to enhance your life or your spiritual senses is to really connect in with that outwardly energy, that extraterrestrial energy, really connect in with the moon and the stars and the things that you think about when it comes to something beyond our earth, because that helps the brain to go, you know what, there is more out there that I can't see. And if you really just start to tune in and connect with that, whether you're outside and you just start staring up at the stars, or whether you're laying in bed and you imagine connecting with the stars and imagine connecting in with the moon energy, when you do that, a lot of times as a moon child, there'll be a place in your chest center where it will start to feel tingly and or connected in, and or you might feel this loving sensation, because that's where everybody always feels their intuitive center, in their middle of their chest is always where everybody feels love too, when they're feeling warm and fuzzy towards somebody. So in that area, a lot of times it will activate that area of the body, and that area of the body will help you to tune into your spiritual senses. That's when we're activating our intuitive senses as well, and with that can become memories. So that's a good place to start learning how to connect in with your spiritual senses and learning how to connect in with other lifetimes and other information that might be held within your spiritual body and or your spiritual memory, is just allowing yourself to be connected and feel it and imagine it, and just allowing that vibration to happen. I think that that's easier for some people because people don't shut down the moon and the stars and other planets the way that they would shut down the spirit realm. Like, well, nobody knows that exists. Nobody knows where it is. You can see stars, you can see planets, you
Yeah.
can see moons. And so it helps your brain to justify and allow your connection to happen naturally. And then there's no belief system that interferes and shuts that down, like, oh, no, 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 you don't even know, where'd you get this info from, you don't even know that that's true, you don't know what that looks like, because we actually have photo evidence, right, of all the things within our galaxy out here. But then you can take it so far as to go outside. You can imagine what might be out there further, what might be out there further than that. And that will help to expand your spiritual body. It will help you to connect in. It will help you to bypass any of the brain's resistance, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it can really be helpful on those regards. And then the other thing is when you start to feel the vastness of astral energy and universal energy, that can help bridge that gap to when we're working with universal laws. Because there has been a lot of documentaries done on some things. Who was it? Bob Lazar that did some stuff on when they were studying the propulsion systems of
Mm.
a UFO that had crashed. There's a lot of scientists that have talked about these types of things, and they say they have no idea. Like the I want to say quantum physics, or we'll just say operational system behind how that they propel themselves, how they levitate the crafts, how they um, move in and out of atmospheres, but also don't burn up. They just cannot wrap their brain around it. We don't have the proper knowledge here yet. So that is a very good bridge to help with your brain and your spiritual self to go, well, clearly they're working with some type of energy. They're working with some type of ability that we don't have here on earth. That means that energetically, the law of attraction, the law of allowing, things of that nature have some substance to it, or could possibly have substance to it if you're a non believer in those types of things, or you're having a hurdle getting there. There's clearly a way that these things are operating that has no visual evidence
Yeah.
and no explanation for the knowledge that we have on earth. And if that's true, that technically is visual evidence for things working without an explanation.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get harder and harder to deny. I mean, especially as we go on through the next few years. I mean, you're gonna see a lot more sightings, you know. I'm a full believer, obviously, but
Mhm.
I just think there's going to be so much more reveal. Do you agree? Do you psychically agree that
Yes, because it's becoming acceptable. They're starting to release a lot of things stating that this happened and that happened, and the amount of material out there right now that they're releasing is just a lot to sort through. But they're starting to say, yes, this did happen, or these are events that have been reoccurring, or these pilots do see things, you know. I mean, we've known this forever, but now they're releasing the reports that have been reported to whoever that they were supposed to report things to. And those are also evidence of clearly things navigating by way that we don't have knowledge of.
yeah.
And so, yes, the sightings will grow. I don't know. I don't entirely feel like the sightings have grown as much as people are more aware of the sightings. I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of the difference. They're more aware of the sightings through cameras, video, you know, like phone video footage. They're talking about it more. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh my God, I'm crazy. I can say I seen a UFO or whatever, and people aren't going to try to put them in a straitjacket or something. So I feel like it's more acceptable to talk about. I feel like the interest has gone up because everybody within this transitional journey, they're feeling more connected. They are remembering more about who they are on a soul level. And with that becomes their own reality, which is, yeah, we believe that this exists. And so it draws their attention more to the sky. It draws their attention more to articles. Yeah, so I think it's more about there's more people accepting it, therefore noticing it, than more activity, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to continue to happen. So if you are a moon child, that is a good window if you start noticing that you're a moon child to start working on developing your spiritual senses, though. Did you know that as well?
Hmm.
That's a good window because you're starting to feel your spiritual body. If you feel drawn to the moon, if you feel drawn to extraterrestrial energy, if you feel, and it will be like a feeling, an urge, just this really strong part of yourself, usually within the chest center, that you just feel drawn, or that it's factual, or that it exists, or a fascination. That's your window, and timing is ripe for you to start working with your spiritual body, start learning how to develop your spiritual senses, start learning how to tune into them, learning how to allow your spiritual body and physical body to work together, be more aware of signs and synchronicities, just move down the spiritual path of development if you choose to, because that is a good window. If you're remembering this, if you're feeling drawn, your spiritual body is activating. And so it's more to the surface than being dormant and being pushed down, because you wouldn't remember that if your spiritual body was not like, starting to tingle and starting to want to activate with information. Otherwise, you'd be like, oh, yeah, the moon. Yep. Looks like a moon. There would be no like of that feeling in the chest center in the body.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
feel like,
always like, "Oh my god, look at the moon, isn't it so
yes,
pretty?"
yeah, there would be none of that. There would be none of that obsession or fascination, or, just the, oh my gosh, this is amazing. That feeling that you get within the body. I mean, and don't you notice now that I mention it, that you do have that feeling of either calmness or just that some type of sensation when you see the moon, like it just,
Yeah.
wow, that's cool, isn't that awesome? It just looks, I don't care how many times I see a moon here in Hawaii, like, you know we can see it every day, and what it's like, wow, look at it now, look at it today. It's just like, it gives you that really nice feeling vibe in the body where you're just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So anyways, would you like to add anything? Do you have any questions?
I don't think I have any more questions.
Okay. Wow. I've been doing a good job because we're not having to cover more questions. But if I didn't cover something and you do have questions, or if you are a moon child, if you feel drawn to the moon, astral energy, other planets, extraterrestrial energy, comment below that you are a moon child, or yes, that's me, or something along that lines. I'm a moon child. Yes, that's me. I would like to see how many people comment below. How many moon children do we have out there that we can, communicate with? That,
Yeah, and like the video while you're at it, so
yes, just hit the like button and the notification. All right. So that will conclude our moon child discussion, moon child starseeds, and hopefully everybody has a wonderful time looking at the moon today, and not any crazies going on, and not any weird stuff happening, right? All right.
absolutely. Yeah.
So have the most amazing day. We will see you next week. Aloha.
Bye.